Hey HBs, this is Heaving Bosoms, the podcast where two best friends take you through the plot of romance novels while mixing in jokes, tangents, and lady love. As is best, we're going to start off with a shout out for one of our beloved patrons. Jenny P., you are an acolyte of the Norns, or the Fates of Norse mythology. From Skuld, or She Who Is Becoming, you get your widely celebrated connection to and ability to interpret the future. Only someone like you could capture both the beauty and support that tarot has to offer and make it tangible for so many. From Urd, or That Which Was, you get a millennia of human experience baked into your bones. You draw from this wisdom daily, especially when it counts. And finally, from Verdandi, or That Which Is Becoming, you get your impressive ability to be present. No matter what life throws at you, never underestimate the value of just being you when shit inevitably hits the fan. It's not about saying or doing the right thing. It's about being there for those you love, and your instincts won't let you do anything else. Our Patreon fundraiser is going super strong, and we're simultaneously grateful, proud, impressed, and generally blown away by all the people who have shown up for it. Just a quick reminder, we're doubling all new and increased pledges in the months of June and July, so you've got a little over a week left to get in on supporting our sisters in Alabama via the Yellowhammer Fund. Just visit patreon.com/Heaving Bosoms Podcast to sign up and find out about all the goodies, like shoutouts, you can get at the different support tiers. And I'm so happy to say this episode is sponsored by Rebel Carter's first rom-com, Love and Gravity. It's a multicultural STEM Hufflepuff romance with a curvy Latina lab queen and a swoon-worthy reformed bad boy. Here's the description. Quirky lab queen Grace and wealthy physicist Anton have only met over email and the occasional phone call. Anton is everything Grace dreamed of. Smart, funny, supportive of her best friend's work. He makes her heart race. Until, finally, they do meet. And it blows. Because the funny, sensitive, and thoughtful man vanishes in the blink of an eye, replaced by a condescending jerk who thinks she's little more than an errand girl. Amid glitter bombs, shrink rays, over-caffeinated scientists, and stolen lab research, the two of them struggle to figure out what to do with their explosive chemistry. Is love, like gravity, a wave? And will it pull them under? One reviewer gushed, Anton and Grace are hilarious, flawed, sweet people who I fell in love with right away. This book is witty, fun, and emotional, and it has ladies killing it in STEM. And another reviewer said, this book is snappy, sweet, and superb. It's available now as an ebook, paperback, and free on Kindle Unlimited, so go forth and read Love and Gravity ASAP. I'll include buy links in the episode description, and if you need any more incentive, just know that Rebel is an amazing HB. So let's support our ladies. And now, without further ado, we're going to experience the second and final part of Dead Until Dark by Charlaine Harris, the book that defies all of Erin's preferences. Woo! Oh, hi!
Hello.
Hi, Erin.
Sookie.
Sookie. Erin
Melody.
is mad.
Melody. Anyway, what's up? What's going on with you?
Oh, man. Well, for the first time in podcast history, now that we know that it is less than 2 years, first time in podcast history, I've got a cocktail.
Hey-o. Oh, are you drunk?
No, unfortunately.
Because
now, when I texted you earlier,
about 2 hours ago, you sent me a text that said cocktails and then like the tongue out, like that face, like one eyebrow up face.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I'm certainly feeling it, but
Uh-huh.
I'm not drunk. And I have a little tasty mimosa with me along with my water. So it's a pretty exciting day, everyone. Yeah. So we had people over today, and Michael made this absolutely incredible summertime cocktail, like a big carafe of it.
Oh, is it the Melody?
And it was like, oh man, it was so close to the Melody. No, it wasn't. The Melody was gin based. This was vodka based with limeade and a little bit of bitters, and then we tossed in some frozen fruit to just like really amp up the summer. You know, like you do.
Do you know what was in the Melody?
Yeah.
Let's tell them the recipe for the Melody.
All right. It was gin, soda. It was gin soda, a splash of cranberry, a splash of there was some a splash of lemonade. Yeah, and then a garnish of some sort of fruit, usually a lemon. So gin, sparkling
soda.
something soda, a little bit of cran, a little bit of lemonade, fruit garnish, and go. And just go be the life of the party, everyone.
That does sound delicious in summary.
It was really a tasty yumness. That's all I have to say.
Here's the thing, Melody.
What?
We don't have time for banter.
We don't. We have 70% of book
We
to
are
do.
32% into this book.
I know. All right, so let's do it.
All right.
Sookie and Bill, when we left them, are headed to Fantasia, the vampire bar.
They're on their way in the car.
So they're going.
Okay.
He's listening to Kenny G. She is surprisingly not saying a
She
goddamn
is
word.
Turned on by the Kenny G.
God.
So
Look
am
at those
I.
stalkers.
So are you.
Oh.
Don't kid
God.
yourself. He is
Oh,
dressed
his
up
golf
in his
shirt.
polo shirt.
I'm fanning
and
myself.
his loafers.
Oh, the loafers.
And his
Every time he
pleated
hits
pants.
on the... Oh,
Maybe
every
he's
time
wearing jeans, but if he is, that golf shirt is tucked into him, and we are
Ooh.
ready to go.
It's just revving all the engines. Am I right?
Oof. Okay. So they get to Fantasia. Pam, the vampire, greets them at the door. Is that right?
It's like a lady vampire. I think it's
It's not Pam?
the show. It's who the show based Pam on.
Oh,
Because
okay.
she's like sexy McSexerson.
Well, there is
whereas
a Pam.
Pam-
There's Pam's in the book.
Yeah, but Pam in the books is usually in like tracksuits.
Oh, yeah.
And
But she's in this
She's
scene.
not the
She
same
must
Pam.
just be sitting up by Eric, though.
yeah, she's on the other throne.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, wait. Okay. Can we do
What's up?
a couple corrections? We should
Are
have
you
done this
gonna
before we
bing,
got
boom,
into
bird
the book.
chirp? What?
Bing bong,
Tell me.
boom, bird click. Several corrections have happened in the last 2 weeks. Correction number 1.
Oh God! Correction number 1. Sasha Tran is Vietnamese. She's Vietnamese, you guys. I don't know what was happening in my brain.
Not Chinese, Vietnamese.
God,
Second, during
so
that
dumb.
episode, I said that there was a crab cakes with a tamponade on it. That was a remoulade. Of course it was. Just, I should have known that. Bon
I have no idea
temps,
what a
everyone.
remoulade is.
I
Remoulade.
don't listen, guys. I lived in Louisiana. It's not like inside me. Okay, I'm sorry. And then correction 3, Lafayette is black, and we find out in the
Lafayette's black.
last half of this book, she mentions
Did you,
that he is.
did you get my
he is-
text?
No. Did you text me about that?
Yeah,
Oh.
I think so. No, I just wrote it in my notes.
Anyway, but she mentions like 75% through this book that he is in fact black in the books. But the thing is, he doesn't stick around long enough in the books that anything about him ever matters. Like they build
Yeah,
this
I'm
great
so
character
glad.
and then he dies. Sorry, spoiler alert.
I'm so glad he actually stuck around in the show. I'm
Oh
really
yeah,
glad they
it's
made
such a
that
great
choice.
character. I don't know why they took Charlaine Harris took time to build an actual interesting character and then just
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so not Pam greets them at the door. They go in. There's a lot of like goth people and vampires, and she says it looks like what like a vampire theme park would look like in there. It's very campy.
Yeah.
A lot of puns, that sort of thing.
It's got all the vampires from like all the films on the
Yes.
walls, which I find
Yes.
hilarious. It's a little too on the nose for me,
Right.
but that's fine. So they go up to the bar, and
she's the only one in white, and he says that she looks like a white candle in a coal mine. Sorry, keep going.
Oh,
they go up to the bar.
A white candle in a coal mine.
I
Bill,
just
you're
love that
actually
imagery.
speaking my language right now. Yeah.
And he looks like an accountant from 1996.
No.
I'm sorry. It's true, and it's hot and sexy. Let's go. They go up to the bar.
Yep. So they go up to the bar, and there's this vampire bartender named Long Shadow.
Yes.
And Bill introduces them, and he's like, "So my lady friend over here would like to ask you some questions." And she asks him, like, if he saw the two ladies, and he's like, yes. And she's like, who were they with? And he was like, we wouldn't notice that here. And like gives her this really pointed look. And she's like, oh, cool. Yeah, gotta go.
Yeah.
Thank you for my gin and tonic.
Okay.
Bye.
So this, she does get a gin and tonic. So this exchange both is verbatim book to show. And it is stupid in both. So I just, this is one of the things that I will be like, this is objectively stupid. Okay. Oh. She puts the two Maudette and Dawn photos on the table. Both versions of this. Long Shadow is like, yeah, I've seen them both here. And then he picks up the one, whichever one in which one was like the sexually adventurous one. And then is like, this one, she wanted to die. And Sookie says, what makes you say that? And he's like, because everyone who comes here wants to die because we're death. And if people want to smooch on vampires, they want to die. But why did you point to just the one picture? Then they both wanted to die. We all want to die. That doesn't make any sense. Why would you be like, this one
particularly wanted to die?
He didn't say that in either
this
version.
This one wanted to die post-haste. Is what he should have said.
I don't know. Both times it struck me as very stupid. I don't know. All right.
Fair enough. So then they go and like sit down, and fangbangers are coming up to Bill and like stroking on his penis and stuff. They're not, but they're basically doing that. They're like
trying to
their titties in his face, or like there's a dude who approaches him as well, and he's like scrunching his pecs together, trying to make them titties.
Right.
Being like, we could go to the bathroom, and Bill's like, I will not go with you to the bathroom. I'm here with Sookie.
And then he kind of gets like later on in the evening, he gets like a little bit offended that like Sookie wasn't territorial over him.
Around him, and he's like, dude, where's your pee?
Yeah. She's like, you're not my BF. I'm not your GF.
I should be covered in urine right now. Honestly. I don't know.
So then he tests her and is like, hey, check out that hot and sexy blonde vampire on the throne next to Pam in the pink tracksuit.
Bill has never been more correct. I'm sorry, so we have to stop the podcast.
Yes.
Bill has never been more correct. Sookie, look at the goddamn Viking god sitting up there in literal, just like in all the ways. And this is one of my favorite exchanges, actually, because Bill's like, no, I mean, he's like super fucking old, so he only needs like a sip to survive. He's like, really, he's apparently going to bed with him is like an otherworldly experience. He's super powerful. He's really rich. By vampire standards, this is a really good guy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand. And I'm like, Sookie, listen to Bill. Look at the dockers. Look at the loafers. And then look at Eric. But whatever.
But she's like, I don't want to go with Eric. I likes you.
I don't want to do that. I'm a waitress.
So eventually Eric beckons them over.
Yes.
And they go over and talk to Eric. And basically what we get from this exchange is Eric is full of danger. Eric likes Sookie. He doesn't know. No, wait. He did have sex with one of them, Maudette or Dawn.
Sexy danger.
Yeah.
Sexy danger. Dawn. Are you kidding? Dawn.
Well, but
there's no way that Charlaine Harris would make. No, but you shouldn't. Because there's no way that Charlaine Harris would have Eric bang the pudgy one. All right.
But isn't Maudette the hot one in the show then? Well, I guess they're both hot in the show. I'm saying, like, there's one that's, like, sluttier.
It was an HBO show. Everybody's hot. Yeah. Come on.
I just thought, I thought they were switched. Wasn't the slutty one the prude in the book and the prude the slutty one in the show?
There weren't prudes either way. I don't know
the one that, like, danger sex. Wasn't it switched, the names?
No, Maudette was the one that was, like, she was the one with the other vampire, like, trussed up and, like.
Right.
like Jason thought he killed her.
Right. So in the show...
Oh, yes, you're right. In the show...
Maudette tells Jason that she had sex with a vampire, and he gets weirded out. And he's like, was he this blonde one with the skeleton tattoos? And she's like, nah, he had a lot of hair. And she's talking about Eric. So in the show, Eric had sex with Maudette. In the book, Eric had sex with Dawn. And that is why I'm saying that. Anyway, he had sex with one of them. It doesn't really matter. And then... what we get out of this is he likes Sookie, and then Sookie...
What are you?
What are you?
What are you? Except sexy and Scandinavian.
Yes.
Okay? You gotta just... Don't try. I can't do it.
No, I was going to try to do my Swedish accent, but it sounds so caricature-y. I know we have Swedish fans. So then Sookie... reads the mind of an undercover cop in the bar and is like, oh shit, there's going to be a raid and like somebody's getting murdered in the back. And so they all vacate and Eric is like, oh, you must be a telepath. And yes, then they fuck off.
And in the show, they fly away. And in the book, they just get into a really stupid Corvette. And I hated it.
When they flew away, it was so funny.
So, also right before this, he and Sookie have a conversation where she's like, hey, P.S., I didn't feel like I should have urinated around you because you haven't invited me to anything. I'm always the one who's inviting you to do things. Mm-hmm. And so if you want to like be with me, then you should probably step up to the fucking plate and show some initiative. So they leave and he pulls over into this strip mall, this goddamn vacant middle of the night strip mall.
Sexy AF strip mall.
I don't know how.
Strip malls
are
like sexy malls. They're like malls, but they're strip malls.
There's like a pho place and like a really, really depressing nail salon.
You're making
like,
this
I don't
up.
Understand.
You're literally making that up. That's not in the book.
I'm sorry, you're right. There's like a chicken and dumplings place and then a really depressing nail salon. Okay. Yes, I am making it up. There's no pho place in northern Louisiana, or at least, I don't know, Haley and Blair, come at me. I don't give a shit. So,
all right. So anyway, they're making out. He
attacks her. He's like, I'm gonna get up on your sexiness, and then it's knock, knock, knock.
Yeah, police.
The police are here, you guys. Oh.
And they're like, listen, guys, you guys can mac as much as you want, but like not in a car in the strip mall. That's
right.
That's not okay.
And right before this, she's like, let me do the talking because he is erect in all ways. Mm-hmm. And so his fangs are out. His fangs are erect, you guys. Boom, boom.
So they are like, oh, do you come from that vampire bar we just raided? And they're like, no,
not us.
Not us.
I'm a waitress.
And so they shine a light on her neck to make sure that she hasn't been bitten. And then and his neck as well. And then they leave.
Good on them, right? Don't assume.
Yeah. And then that is it for the evening.
Yeah, he takes her home. They smooch again or whatever. Oh, no. They sort of smooch, but she's like, I'm not going to bother you ever again. And he's like, oh, my naive little Sookie. And then doesn't call her for 2 days. So there's that.
Right.
He's like, no, let me reassure you how much I like you. And then just ghosts her for 2 days.
They have so many weird on and offs in this book that are like not founded in any sort of like reality or emotion. I feel like during the day, Sookie's like, this is a bad idea. And then at night, she's
Sookie
like,
comes
it's
to her
back on.
senses.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then the moment she sees his glowing skin and smells his vampire essence, she's like, get that cold dick up in me. It's great. So next is he goes to speak at a place.
Well, no, now's the scene where we get Detective Belfleur in the restaurant thinking provocative thoughts about Sookie and her brother doing nasty things, and it makes
I will not do that nastiness, Andy Belfleur.
And then I think she like pours a drink on him or something like that. But
he thinks incest at her. Fuck you.
Yeah.
How dare you?
But that makes Sookie cry, and she goes in the back room, and she's upset. And then I think this is where Sam asks her out.
Hubba.
Is it not?
Sam.
Yes, because now Bill is going to speak at the Descendants of the Glorious Dead meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And
they
Sam,
haven't spoken for a week for no reason. And so she's like, I guess he's not my boyfriend
it's
anymore.
Like he didn't do anything wrong. They had like a very hot makeout. Like, I don't know what the deal was.
But like, she didn't do anything wrong either. And she very openly was like, hey, I am not going to show me your titties. Erin just took off her bra.
I just took my bra off. I'm sorry, guys.
Show them.
It's just really hot in here.
Yeah, I'm really hot too.
You guys, I didn't show Melody my boobs. I took off my
She did.
bra.
It's her word against mine. It's fine. You believe whatever you want, listener. Okay.
That's not what happened.
So, now I'm totally...
So, no, Sam asked Sookie out to the Descendants of Glorious Dead.
I was making a point. No.
What? Sorry.
She very openly was like, hey, P.S., I'm feeling kind of insecure about this. I have always, like, the ball is in your court. And then the person who is supposedly interested in mainstreaming and exclusively dating this human woman was just like, well, I conveniently forgot how phones worked and also my legs at night. Like, he can't make any kind of effort. I don't understand.
I think he was kind of feeling bad about the whole fiasco and what happened.
So shouldn't he have made more effort? Shouldn't he have like doubled down and sent flowers and like asked her out on a date or whatever? Watched her drink some coffee? I don't fucking know.
I think he was trying to give her space. But you know who fills that space is Sam.
Oh, Sam.
And he says, let's go to the Descendants of the Glorious Dead and then have coffee afterwards. Do not ask me out for coffee at night. No, that ruins my whole night. Do not ask me out for coffee at like...
What? You just drink decaf.
7 p.m.? Gross. Decaf? Gross. What is the point of that?
I live on decaf. Take it back.
All right. Anyway.
It's a nice little placebo effect.
I guess.
Tastes the same.
I don't know. So she says she's going to go with Sam as a date. So now Sookie's going to get ready to go to the Descendants of the Glorious Dead.
And Gran is also getting ready.
Oh, yeah. Gran wore lipstick, you guys.
What happens, Erin?
Here is what she decides to wear to the date with Sam / making Bill jealous / the whole town will be there. Khaki slacks.
Ooh.
And a bronze silk blouse with short sleeves. And brown leather sandals and a brown leather belt. A chain around her neck, some big gold earrings, and then I was ready.
And then she was ready to go.
My note
everybody
was oof. But she did brush her hair, in case anyone was wondering whether she brushed her hair. Sookie brushes her hair at least twice a chapter. Okay.
And then Bill brushes it 3 times a chapter, and
Bill
he might even braid it.
He hated it. Oh, yeah.
He's always braiding her hair. He's always washing it.
It's the one quality of Bill Compton that I'm just like, I cannot get behind. It's super creepy.
The one. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, no, I hear you. I'm stepping off. I'm just, baffled.
At the Descendants of the Glorious Dead, we get some mild vampire racism. People very
lots of it.
Like weirded out by the vampire situation. They don't know whether or not it's safe.
Also, Bill has car trouble.
What?
Which
I don't remember
Bill
that.
has car trouble. He's late to the Descendants of the Glorious Dead because the vampire has car trouble.
But he can literally fly at lightning speed.
Thank you.
I don't understand. Maybe he didn't want to mess up his hair.
Anyway, he does a whole talk.
He does a talk. He tells everybody about all their ancestors. He really endears himself to the town, which is nice.
And then she goes out for coffee with Sam.
And
then
kind of fucks it up a little bit. He's like, I don't like to see you with that vampire. It's a wrong turn for you, that kind of thing.
She's like, it's none of your fucking business, Sam Merlot.
And then they make out a little bit, but she's like, he's my boss. I don't know.
Yeah, and she's like, it's nice, but it's not like anything to write home about. So then, oh, Jesus. So she kisses her boss, and it's like a fine thing. So she's like a little bit confused. She's like, I'm Sookie, and I'm a waitress, and I'm kind of in a love triangle. But then she walks into the house, and all of those guys, this is not my southern accent, I promise. I'm just being a dick.
It's Anna Paquin's, I'll tell you that.
You know what? It is Anna Paquin.
Thank you. I'm a waitress, and I'm in a love triangle.
So all of a sudden she goes into her house thinking of all of her big problems, and then she like slips on some wetness on the ground or something.
Yes.
And Sam has fucked off at this point. He's totally gone. And she turns on the light and Gran is dead. Gran is dead.
Well, she comes into the living room and she can smell the blood, which is rough. She smells like that coppery penny smell of blood. And that's how she knows something's wrong, which is like really horrible.
Like, how dare you? I mean, she did the thing. What is it? Chekhov's grandma? You introduced a grandma to me at the beginning. I know something's going to go bad. Yeah. They say it's Chekhov's gun. They're wrong. It's Chekhov's grandma.
Yes.
So then Bill is there. I don't know why.
Immediately.
I don't remember why.
Can't he sense her fear?
I think he was No, that's the show. I think it was like lurking. In the show, it's because she drinks his blood, and so he can feel all of her emotions.
Wait, I have it. Your grandmother gave me a ride home, but I insisted on coming with her first and helping her unload the car, and then he waited
and then he goes
for
home
Sookie.
To change. No, he goes home to change, and then he comes back to wait for Sookie, and in that time, Gran gets befucking myrtleated.
Mm-hmm. Befucking myrtleated.
Yeah, it's horrible. So then all of the authorities are called.
Yeah, Jason gets in, like, there. Sam's there now.
Can I just go on record real quick?
What?
Jason in the show is problematic but lovely. Jason in the book is a monster, and I hate all of his guts.
No, you are blinded by those Australian biceps and abs and blue eyes.
I don't give a shit.
No, because Jason in the show is at least like Jason in the book is at least not a fucking racist. In the show, he's all over this like humans first, vampires die situation.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
In the book,
Jason
he's all for Bill and Sookie.
He's a baby victim blamer. So we'll get to that.
That's true. I'm just saying they're both pieces of shit. It's just different ways. And you're thinking that the show one is better because of how good he has sex.
He's just lickable, you know?
Yes.
I mean, he's just every ridge. I would lick all of them.
Just as bad as the book.
All of them.
Just as bad.
Yeah. But he's redeemable.
He's redeemable because of how hot he is.
You know what? No, he's redeemable because he ends up fucking Jessica and like having a relationship with Jessica.
No,
and then he, like, learns
that's Hoyt.
That Jason too. You
I don't
asshole.
Remember that.
Oh yeah, it's a whole thing. That's why she and Hoyt break up.
I do remember that.
And then he starts fighting, and then like in the later seasons, he starts fighting, and he breaks everybody. He breaks all the vampires out of the vampire concentration camp. He is redeemable.
But that's like his
baby
fault.
Victim blamer.
Like he did all that shit because he was in the Fellowship of the Sun. He did so much bad shit. He murdered that nerdy vampire.
Yeah.
I'm not on.
I don't remember the nerdy vampire.
You know when him and Amy kidnapped that guy and kept him in their basement for like ever?
Oh yeah.
It was a horrible storyline, and that was season 1.
He felt so bad about that, though.
Didn't he?
You know,
didn't he?
He felt so bad. And also abs. Ooh.
It's the abs. You are blinded by the abs. You are blinded.
Smile. He's got that. I can't. Okay, you know what? I am a show apologist. He redeems himself.
Just admit that you're blinded by abs.
I'm sorry. You're right. You're right. Okay, fine. Just admit that you're blinded by loafers and dockers and golf shirt and Kenny G. Admit it. Say it out loud.
I am blinded by nostalgia and confirmation bias. I am not blinded by Kenny G and golf shirts. That would be insane and ridiculous. You would have to like make sure that I wasn't alien possessed or something like that. I would be pod person if I was blinded by khakis and golf shirts.
All right, fine. So then book Jason, the absolutely fuckheaded asshole, is like, you don't even care about Gran, and why did she give you all the things? And he slaps her right across the face.
Yeah.
He slaps her.
He's so pissed that Gran gave her the house that he slaps her.
How dare you, sir?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Which he also does in the show. He also slaps her in the show. Anyway, but apparently we've forgotten about that.
The slap, I guess, just blinded me to the whole thing. Like the muscles
he's so
in his
fucking
forearm.
high on drugs, he doesn't even find out about Gran dying for like 5 days, and then he slaps Sookie in the face.
And
I
his
think
penis
at the
is, like,
funeral. Is it
eggplanted.
not like at the funeral or the visitation or something?
I don't remember. I think they're okay at the funeral because she is wearing that little matching short sleeved like what is that, bolero jacket that matches her dress perfectly, and it is just one of the best outfits in the whole show.
I think it's like at the
amazing
like
outfits.
funeral after party or something that he slaps her in her face.
Listen, outfits, forearm, biceps. I can be blinded, I guess.
Apparently. Okay. Anyway. So that sucks for her on the evening of her grandmother's death. She's being comforted by both Bill and Sam. They're putting away their petty differences in order to help Sookie, which is very nice.
These mature men's. My next note is she cleans out the house and moves into Gran's room.
Yes. Like the next day.
She just cleans out that house. Yeah, they have the funeral. Sorry, it's the biggest funeral in Renard Parish's history.
Yes.
Everybody's in her house. Marlene Fortenberry, or whatever her name is there, and she's actually helpful, which is different from the show.
Oh yeah, in the show she's a monster. In the book she's fine. Great.
God, I love her in the show. I love her in the show too. I love her.
Everybody knows that woman.
Oh, I love her.
Maxine Fortenberry.
Maxine Fortenberry. Okay. And then she and Arlene clean out the house, and it's like 2 days, 1 day after the funeral, but she's like, I need to put this energy somewhere. So she cleans out Gran's room. They spend all day doing it.
Right.
And then she says to Arlene, I think I'm going to move into that room. And Arlene's like, are you sure it's not like too soon? This feels real weird. And she goes, I think it would be worse me going back to my regular room and just thinking about this room being empty.
Right.
So I think it probably would be better. And Arlene's like, oh yeah, okay, sure. And then she puts on
that night
her Tweety Bird shirt.
She takes a shower and she
takes a shower,
dries off. Her
with
hair
a towel.
Is all snarled, and
she doesn't even
she
think
snarled
about
it.
brushing it.
If you remember that episode, she snarled it.
Snarled it,
and then she puts on her very
dries
sexiest,
off with her salmon towel,
extra large Tweety Bird sleep shirt. That says
it goes down
something about a putty tat. And then she
this putty tat
goes downstairs to comb her hair in front of the television.
Boy, oh boy, the best place to comb your hair.
And she hears the doorbell ring. And who is it?
Bing!
But Bill Compton.
It's Dockers and Low. She goes to the door and she opens it and she scans from the bottom to the top and she sees the sexiest loafers around.
She does
only to be matched by the best
what he was
Dockers
wearing.
he's
says
ever.
Nothing.
Oh, and then up even further is this polo shirt.
It says
protector,
nothing
everyone.
about his outfit for the first time in Charlaine Harris history. Stop it. Okay, you know what? He's wearing a Tweety Bird t-shirt too. They're matching. No pants.
He's wearing a Sylvester shirt. Okay.
All right.
So he comes in and he's like, Sookie, let me brush your hair.
Yeah.
Because it's so snarled. And I like it.
You snarled it. So she sits in front of him on the couch. And then he says
that he learned this by doing his little sister's hair.
Also
which
weird.
is both endearing and paternalistic. And I don't know how to feel about it. Mostly I don't like it. I just don't like it.
Yeah, I don't. He tells her about his sister and his family. And then he starts kind of smooching on her neck.
Oh, yeah. He's got that nape of the neck kiss, which, I mean, really is every person's kryptonite. You know what I mean?
Everyone.
That nape of the neck, just like full body shivers.
Goes to her ear, starts nibbling on the ear a little bit.
Nibbling. He's breathing into her ear a little bit.
Then he pulls her back a little bit.
By the waist.
Uh-huh. Yes.
And it says like an infant, I think.
Yes, he does. He lifted me as easily as I'd rotate as an infant. What a sentence. But it's perfect. He turned me so I was facing him on his lap, my legs on either side of his. I put my arms around him and bent a little to kiss him. It went on and on, but after a while, Bill settled into a rhythm with his tongue, a rhythm even someone as inexperienced as I could identify. The nightshirt slid to the tops of my thighs.
I mean, even a baby could identify it, I bet.
Stop it. The nightshirt slid to the tops of my thighs. My hands began to rub his arms helplessly. Strangely, I thought of a pan of caramels my grandmother had put on the stove for a candy recipe. I thought of the melted, warm, sweet goldenness of them. That's how you know Sookie is horny.
Really
she thinks of some caramels.
Right. She melts like some candy.
Yeah, and so then he leans in and he's like, "Where?"
And then he leans in and he says, "I thought I'd top pretty bad."
Ooh, someday we're gonna read your favorite book and I'm gonna fuck it up real good. How long has that been like at the surface? And you're just like wanting it to come out so badly. How long?
I'm crying so long.
10 minutes? Weeks? Years? Oh, so then they go fuck in her grandma's room, her dead grandma.
Yeah, so she's like, "Take me to my dead grandmother's room, Bill."
Yes. Bail.
Bill, I'm not as experienced as you might think. And he says, "Don't worry, I am so experienced."
And he says, yes, several times.
Ugh,
She's like, "Will it be different from doing it with a regular guy?" And he says,
"Oh,
yes. And he says, "It'll be better." And then, what else did he say? And she says something like,
he says a lot.
"Now? Are we going to do it now?" And he's like, "Oh, yes." Like,
"Oh, yeah.
It happens
I'm
several
about
times.
to put it in you." And
then she has her orgasm. Let me find it.
Let's read it.
This stuck with me for decade. I was going to say years, but I want you to understand that it's 10 years that I still think about this all the time. Okay.
Oh my God.
All right.
Oh my God.
I said, Bill, please, Bill, please, and dug my nails into his hips. Almost there. And then a small shift in our alignment allowed him to press even more directly against me. And almost before I could gather myself, I was flying, seeing white with gold streaks.
That's not your normal? That's not how you do it?
Anyone's normal. HBs. I know Melody has implored several times to write in about the specifics of your sex life.
Oh my God, you guys.
This is the first time, me, Erin, I'm coming to you.
This is unprecedented.
Because I don't think I'm going to get weird emails that I don't want to read. I think I'm going to get 0 emails. If you have ever seen white with gold streaks and felt the sensation of flying during an orgasm, Heaving Bosoms podcast wants to hear about it.
You let these bitches know.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes. Okay. And then he bites her.
And then afterwards, he bites her
on the neck.
And she says yes.
Yes.
And then
yes.
And then he comes inside her and felt him draw on the little wound. They lay there for a long time. She asked him how it's going to be after, and he's like, "You're probably going to be a little sore." And
bing, boom, bong.
And then
bird click. Before we get to the weirdness of the next thing that happened.
Shit.
Nope. I'm not ready for that yet.
Sorry, you're not done. Sure. Bird click. Go.
Question, Melody. What is vampire semen in the Sookie Stackhouse world? What is it?
Oh, great question.
Is it sperms? I don't think it's sperms.
It's like skull and crossbones. When you put it under the microscope.
Well, I think in the world of the show, because they cry blood but don't sweat blood, they say several times that all their fluids inside are blood and that they're animated by blood. I believe that they come blood.
No.
Yes.
No.
I think that is the case.
No, because then they would never come inside humans because it's like a drug or whatever.
Why don't know.
Why would you do that?
Maybe that's why sex with vampires is so great.
No, because then it would also make them attached like almost permanently, I think, to any human that they had sex with.
Then what is it?
No, you're right.
If they cry blood, what is it?
Maybe it's just like dust.
Confetti.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh God, is it blood? Oh God.
You know what I just thought of is like the guns that you pull the trigger and it just is a little flyer that says bang.
That's what
Maybe
it is.
that's what it is.
That's what it is.
It's like a little flag that says splooge.
Oh, splooch. I like it.
Okay.
All right.
Anyway,
so
okay.
Then, wait. Bing, boom. I'm taking over. I'm sorry.
I knew
Bing,
that
boom,
this
bong,
would
bird,
happen.
click.
Yes.
This nonsense is Banana Town bonkers.
I love
and
it.
I
love
will
it. I
not
love it. I
have
love it.
No.
Bananas.
Okay, so he's like, you're gonna be sore for a day or two, and she's like, your blood heals, and
Your blood
and then
heals.
oh god, and he goes, so it does. Would you like that? And oh my god, oh god. Oh god.
I'll just read it. He
sorry,
casually rubbed a
I
finger
have
in his
locked
own
up.
blood and then slid the finger inside me.
It's not even so. Two things. So first of all, the blood can heal if she just drinks it, and I don't know why that's better for me, but it is. You know. Second of all, it is. Do you think Sookie Stackhouse is Bahimond?
No, I just
It
thought it was
hurt,
that there was like
right?
some tearing.
No. I understand that, but if she is in fact Bahimond,
Oh,
or
she's now
was
newly
before the
hymened again?
sex, wouldn't she be Hymened again
Oh, God.
if it heals up?
Yeah.
Why would you do that? You just ride out the soreness, Sookie.
Yeah.
And then, say ta-ta to your hymen. Don't stretch out your hymen twice in a row.
Yeah.
That's unnecessary.
That's fair.
I don't know. No?
Yeah, no, I am
Because it hurt,
with you.
right?
Is it?
I mean,
the
I-
book or the
like-
show where there's a virgin and she keeps behind.
Oh, it's the show. It's
It's
Jessica.
Jessica?
She's a virgin when she gets turned to vampire, and so every single time she has sex for the first time, her hymen is
Yeah,
is a
you would
scrunchie.
think that
It's
would
the
happen to
tiniest
Sookie as
scrunchie.
well.
Yes. So then third of all, I cannot believe, you guys, I cannot believe this is my third on the list. Like, I don't even know who I am right now. This book has turned me into a different human, I think.
How dare you?
Do not put blood on your mucous membranes. That's not
Oh my gosh,
safe.
it's magic blood. It's magic blood, Melody.
No.
Erin, if your
no.
boyfriend is a bird, click. If your boyfriend is a monster, it does not. These rules do not apply anymore. It's a monster magic blood.
They've already discovered, I think last episode we already discovered there is a sexually transmitted disease. This one only hurts vampires or something. No, it also hurts humans. There are diseases that you can get from
It doesn't
vampires,
hurt
monster
humans.
or
Humans
not.
are carriers of it, and then they don't have any. It's undetectable.
I don't know, man. That she was talking like that guy had nothing to live for, as in like he's on his deathbed anyway or something. Even if you're just a carrier, how are you gonna that's not safe. Do you want to have sex with any other hot monsters ever again? Do not willingly put someone's blood into your vaginal canal when you know there's tearing, like ever, right? Ever. But this bitch knows for a fact that her mucous membrane is torn all to hell.
He's already
and then she's like, you know what you should do?
He probably just squirted blood up in her already.
No, he just splooge banged into her. It's fine. No.
HBs, if you have ever put blood into your vaginal canal, don't tell us about it.
Do not email me.
Please.
Do not email me.
Please
I'm
don't.
sorry. This is one thing I found out something I don't want to know. I don't want to know if you did that. I don't want to know.
All right.
Oh.
Okay, so they've had sex. Next day, she goes
back to work, you guys. Ooh, she's gonna cut up some lemons and she's gonna fill up the salt shakers. Ooh.
Okay. So I'm on point for the rest of this book because I literally read it this morning. All right.
Yeah.
From 44% on, Erin read this morning. Yeah. So she has her work job. Everybody at work is very, don't sleep with vampires. Like,
yeah,
they can tell there's something different about Sookie today because she's lost her virginity. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody's like, What? Why are you so happy? And she's like, well, and I think she's wearing a collared shirt today to cover up the fangs.
Yeah, to cover up the fang marks. In the show, she wears this really cute little scarf.
Is
and
it
Sam
cute,
pulls it
or
down.
is it something you
and
just want to yank off a person? It is the ugliest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, all right, fair.
And I honestly
Sam did invade her privacy.
I am really surprised it's not reversed. Because it seems like in the book, a cute little scarf is exactly what she'd wear.
Oh, Charlaine.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
So everybody's like, she's like, oh, it's Bill. And everybody's like, this Bill? Bill so-and-so? Bill from Monroe? Bill from Shreveport? And she's like, no, Bill the vampire that I'm dating. And then everybody is pissed off.
Yeah, they're not having it.
Yeah.
They're like, didn't you know he's been mutilating up women's?
Yeah. Oh, and Sam actually takes her collar and pulls it down to view. Yeah. And she's like, don't touch my clothes. Don't touch me.
Oh. I thought that was only in the show.
And he's like, I'm just worried about you. And she's like, fuck off, Sam, which I am in agreement to that.
No, agreed. Totally. I'm so sorry. I don't really know what happened in the scene because I cannot wait to describe to you the bathroom in Bill's house. I can't wait. I'm so sorry.
But wait, that's not what happens next.
Sorry, what happens next?
That's when Bill and all Malcolm and Diane and those vampires come in.
Is this where it is?
Isn't it?
I don't know, man. Yeah, totally. So these assholes come in and they're like, they're trying to stir up trouble.
Yeah.
They're just trouble.
Malcolm comes in and smooches
Tornado.
Bill on the mouth just to be provocative.
Yeah, and then he smooches, and then the black lady vampire Diane, she smooches Bill on the mouth, and Sookie's like mental note is, I don't know what offended the patrons more.
Oh,
so that's where we are.
The interracial smooch or the gay smooch.
Yeah, how dare they? Malcolm was wearing leather pants and a kind of chainmail shirt, you guys.
Why not?
And Diane, I think, is like in a Green Man onesie.
Oh, yes.
And
it's like a spandex number.
And Sookie thinks to herself that she could probably count her pubic hairs if she so desired.
Yeah, it's rough.
Woo! Oh, and then the next line is, I can do it.
Yep.
Blacks didn't come into Merlot's much, but if any, Black was... I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I have to try again. Didn't come into Merlot's much, but if any Black was absolutely safe there, it was Diane. So...
Here's the thing. I don't think that in this book... I would say the series, but I haven't reread the series. I've only reread this book.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's anything in this book that the author or the main character said that was racist. I think there are racist things in this book.
It's just the terminology for me. It's just like the phrasing that was really rough for me.
And I think what Charlaine Harris is trying to do is show the prejudice in that small town North Louisiana culture and what people are thinking in, when Sookie can read people's minds, what people think when they believe they have the privacy of their own thoughts.
Yes, absolutely.
And also how Sookie might think about or call different groups of people. Because she also calls Lafayette a gay a couple of times, just as she would call Diane a black. But Sookie never says anything that makes me at least think that she has any kind of ill will toward anyone.
I mean,
except maybe Lumpy Maudette.
Yeah, so there's no ill will, but I think that the phrasing, the very particular phrasing, does a good job of showing her ingrained prejudices.
Yeah. And I think that's what Charlaine Harris is trying to do.
Yeah. Like the cultural prejudices that you fight against all the time if you grow up in that kind of environment and you have some sense.
And I hope this isn't just my confirmation bias on this book, but I think we've read plenty of books that use the right words and yet do really awful things toward groups of people. I don't know if I'm saying this very eloquently, but are being really PC in their writing, but are saying things that are like, oh, oof, do not
absolutely
say things like that. I didn't feel like that in this book.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. So then Bill sort of diffuses the situation and they fuck off. I don't know. But they do a lot of grandstanding and pissing people off, and it's a whole thing.
The bottom line here is that everyone really hated this, and now everybody in Merlot's is really stirred up against vampires.
Yeah.
And then,
tensions are already high.
They go down to a bathroom?
Oh, I'm sorry. Are we there now?
Yeah, I believe we are.
Oh, okay. No problem. So they go to his room. They had his house.
You're so excited.
It was sparse. I'm so excited. I'm so scared. No, I'm not. I'm fine. Okay. So they go into this bathroom, you guys, and I'm just gonna read this to you, okay? Just get ready. Just like snuggle up right now because you are about to hear some incredible design ideas. The space for the grand bathroom had been achieved by including what formerly had been the pantry and about half of the old kitchen. I like to shower, he said, pointing to a clear shower stall in one corner. It was big enough for 2 grown-ups and maybe a dwarf or 2. Missed that on my first read-through. I'll tell you that much. Whoops.
Yeah, okay, listen, I don't... Didn't like that.
Good.
Don't like it. I want to be on the record as not liking that. Okay?
Oh, yeah, Erin?
Yeah. Put me down for not on board with that one.
Wow. Okay. So then, and I like to lie in warm water. He indicated the centerpiece of the room, a huge sort of tub surrounded by an indoor deck of cedar with steps on 2 sides.
Ooh.
There were potted plants arranged all around it. The room was as close to being in the middle of a very luxurious jungle as you could get to in northern Louisiana. Oh my God.
Any comments? Questions? I felt like it was pretty normal and regular. I particularly like the carpet in that room.
Ooh,
Did you notice that later on in the book? It's a carpeted bathroom.
Boof. Well, no wonder he needed the cedar deck, I guess. It's the most. So they bathe.
Yep.
He asked her to undress him in a very 50 Shades of Grey kind of way. Yeah. I think this is where that came from.
Mm-hmm. Then the next night, they have an incredibly gross and unsettling conversation, which I want to also go on record as not being on board with.
Oh, no?
Yes.
This isn't your kind of pillow talk, Erin?
No.
I don't understand.
Bill
right
asks
after somebody
Sookie if she ever
flag splooges into you.
Yeah,
you don't.
Listen, I love this book. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to the Susan Elizabeth Phillips fans. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for what I did. Okay. So Bill asks Sookie if she and her brother ever did childhood sex stuff, kind of.
Which
out of nowhere. It's so weird.
What?
It's just like, hey, Sookie, did you and your brother ever play Show Me Yours when you were little? Which is like a weird thing to ask somebody. It's like, hey, when you were a child, did you ever see your brother's penis or anything? That's weird. That's a weird thing to ask. And then
I don't understand.
She proceeds to tell him that she had a quote unquote funny uncle.
A funny uncle, which actually broke my heart.
What is that? And she's like, oh, an uncle that molests you.
Oh, it's just this broad category of uncles that's totally normal and every funny family has one.
And then she says, it's not like he ever, quote, screwed me, which is so weird and out of character for Sookie. She doesn't even talk like that normally. I don't know why Charlaine Harris chose that word. But then she's like, it was just touching, but I can't have sex without thinking about that time in my life.
Oh, God.
So then... Which, that's fine.
We
just don't need this. We just don't need it. It's not part of the plot. It's rough. And then to make it worse, Bill goes and murders the uncle. And Sookie's mad about it. And that is the end of that weird little plot tangent.
Oof.
All right.
Ooh, no. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. Bill does another thing. His fingers wiped the tears from my face. And his tongue traced their marks.
Ooh, he licked her tears?
He's just going ahead and licking up her tears, Erin.
Oh my god, I want to go on record of saying licking tears is also not something that I am into.
What? Erin, that's how David says goodnight, right?
Oh god, oh.
He asks you about what
well,
you
I
did.
am usually crying myself to sleep, so that is part of it. But no, he never licks my nightly tears. No, that would be very odd.
Oh my god. So
all right.
The next morning, she doesn't know about this, obviously. She went the fuck to sleep.
Yeah.
And so she wakes up, she's in bed by herself. She doesn't know where her Bill is because she doesn't want to know where he makes his daily rest. And so she's like bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and she's like, I don't know, she's twirling her Tweety Bird shirt in a circle. It's a whole thing. Goes out the front door, and Jason is in the front yard waiting for her in his truck. And throughout this whole thing, she's like thinking about how she's never going to have a regular relationship with Bill. She's never going to like ask him to pick up milk from the office or, you know, do literally anything during the day. Or
never
whatever.
Go to church together, never do any of the stuff that she does.
Yeah. And so then Jason comes and he's bearing gifts, which like with this monster is always a bad sign.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets her coffee and she jumps up into his truck. And I actually, there's one thing I really liked about this conversation. He's like, oh, so I see it's true. And she's like, yeah. And he goes, I can't say nothing, not after the way I lived my life these past few years. As near as I can tell, he's your first, right? Like, isn't he? And she nods. And then he goes, he treat you good? And she nods again. And that's the only thing he talks about.
Jason is somewhat better than show Jason in one category.
Yeah. And show Jason really like berates her for having a dead thing up in her and stuff. It's really traumatizing for everybody involved. But then he's like, hey, quick change of gears. I got something to tell you. And she's like, okay. And he goes, Uncle Bartlett got killed last night. And she says, I hope he's in hell. I hope every time he thinks of what he did to me, a demon pokes him in the butt with a porch fork. I think I was about to say
a pork fist is what I started to hear. A pork fist?
That sounds right. And then he goes, God, Sookie. And she looks at him and she goes, he never messed with you. And he says, damn straight. And
she goes, God, I forgot.
Yeah, why don't you take several seats? Implying what? And then he goes, nothing, Sookie, but he never bothered anyone but you that I know of. And she goes, bullshit. I mean, first of all, she should not have to say anything to him like this, but, you know, she does.
Book Jason is a monster.
He molested Aunt Linda, too.
I'm sorry. Also, show Jason is a monster. They're both monsters.
And then he goes, oh. So he's like, Sookie, he was an old man, and he was so sick, and he had prostate trouble, and he was feeble, and he had to use a walker. And then I love her because she goes, that probably slowed him down chasing the 5-year-olds. And he goes, get over it.
He's a monster. I get it. He's a monster. Okay.
You guys. Anyway.
I also felt that there was like a little bit of an undercurrent of like the uncle didn't do anything to him because like there was a little bit of homophobia undercurrent there. Like he's not.
Oh, of course.
Like, I don't know.
At least he's not a gay.
Yeah.
As well as
like, damn straight he didn't mess with me. I'm not a gay. Like, I really felt that in this conversation too, which is also really deeply gross. Listen, Book Jason sucks.
I hated it.
All right.
Wow.
So, long story short here on this thing, Sookie breaks up with Bill.
Yeah, well, yeah, because the penny drops and she's like, OMG, Bill killed this dude or had him killed.
She's like,
she thinks that, like, he called someone.
I don't like this relationship if it's going to cause me to censor things I say around you because I'm worried somebody's going to get murdered because of something they did to me. I'm glad he's dead, but I do not want this in a relationship. And also all the things she was thinking about before, about him not being able to go to church with her and, all those things. So they break up. So then,
well, not before he manipulative. I'm drunk. Manipulatively.
I'm glad you admitted it. Finally, you were like, earlier I was drunk, but now I'm still drunk.
Oh boy. No, he manipulatively says that
Melody.
he loves her. Thank you.
Yeah.
And he's never said it before. You asshole. Don't you say that when I'm breaking up with you. Don't you do that.
He just needed her to know. He just needed her to know.
He doesn't. Does not. Nope.
Tries to get her to have sex with him, but she heroically does not.
Heroically, those
then
talkers.
The next
Give
day,
them to me.
She's working her shift at the bar, and Bill brings in his friend Harlan, who's just passing through, and they look to Harlan. Be on a date. And that
I'm sorry, Bill. I'm so sorry. Bill does say something really sexy.
That he's gonna throw her on the hood of the car and fuck her real good.
It's the porch, and he says that he's gonna fuck her till she faints.
Oh, I thought it was on the hood of the car for some reason.
Nope.
Yeah, it was
Still
super
less.
sexy,
Ooh,
manipulative,
boy.
but sexy.
Right?
Yes.
Oof. Okay, sorry. So then Harlan comes in.
Yes.
Bop, bop, bop.
And so she's jealous
like
and mad that he's with this guy, and she doesn't know if they're like sexually involved. And then he says that night that they are gonna go to Diane and Malcolm's house.
And meanwhile, throughout this, she's been just like accidentally hearing this mob form.
Right.
This mob is really upset about the vampires. Like, the vampires keep on doing other things to like stir up trouble at other bars, and they're just like causing trouble and blah, blah, blah. So, and she's trying to figure out who is the seed of this idea, but she can't. It all just keeps being like passed, like whispering from man to man. And so she tells Bill, be careful.
Right. It's like kind of some veiled message. I thought she called and left him a voicemail or something like that, but she was basically like, hey, people are really mad at vampires. Just like,
No. So at the bar, all she says is watch your back, and then she scoots away.
I thought she left
and then
him a
she
voicemail.
Tries to call him and does not leave him a voicemail.
Oh, I see. Okay.
She gets the voicemail, doesn't leave one, and then goes to bed like nothing's wrong. And then in the morning at like dawn, basically, Jason calls and he's like, hey, all those vampires got burnt to extra crispy vampire setting. And she's like, oh God, I had to go right now. So she puts on, I'm sure, a ridiculous outfit. I didn't clock it, you guys. I'm sorry. And
I know what it was. It was a denim dress.
Okay,
sleeveless.
That's not ridiculous, but it's fine. And I'm sure there were like Keds or something
hair,
adorable.
ponytail.
I can't even, you guys. Even when she's in emergency mode, she tells us about these outfits.
I want to know what Sookie's wearing. Shut up.
On.
I want to know what she's eating. I want to know how many times she brushes her hair. I want to know what the earrings are. I want to know everything.
What up?
Okay.
So then she goes over to the crime scene, and they're like, "Hey, can you tell what this bucket of crispy goo is?" And she's like, "No, can you?" Like, of course I can't. That's not recognizable. But there's 4 vampires and a person. A human person.
Yeah. She doesn't know the human person. She does look at the human. So she spends all day worrying that Bill is the 4th vampire in the fire.
Well, Sam shows up to support Sookie.
Yeah.
And she's like, what am I going to do all day? I can't function.
Which, by the way, Sam's a hero this day. However, the way he approaches it is not to say, hey, Sookie, you know what would take your mind off things if you just clean your house all day? And her be like, yeah, Sam, that's a real good idea. He says, your blinds are filthy. How did you let them get this way? Get the fuck out of my house, Sam. That's what I would have said. This is right
after her very, very house-proud grandmother has been brutally murdered in that house.
Yes.
And he's like, oh, you're not taking care of your house after your gran was
fuck
killed?
You, Sam.
Like, fuck you.
That is not the way to go about that. Anyways.
That's true.
So then they clean the house. Would you like to know all the things they did?
Oh my God. You have to tell them. I had to read it, so they have to hear it.
I lowered one of the blinds, closed it.
Oh my God.
Keep in mind, we are in suspense of whether Bill is dead. Like, we have to read this chapter to be like, is Bill dead?
I think Bill is dead.
Because keep in mind, love triangle. Bill could be dead. We don't know who the hero is at this point.
Oh my God, you're so right.
I lowered one of the blinds, closed it, and began washing. When the blinds were clean, we polished the windows themselves. It began raining about the middle of the morning. We couldn't get to the outside. Sam got the long-handled dust mop and got the spiderwebs out of the corners of the high ceiling, and I wiped down the baseboards. He took down the mirror over the mantel, dusted the parts that we couldn't normally reach, and then we cleaned the mirror and rehung it. I cleaned the old marble fireplace till there wasn't a trace of winter's fire left. Then I got a pretty screen and put it over the fireplace, one painted with magnolia blossoms. I cleaned the television screen and had Sam lift it up so I could dust underneath. I put all the movies back in their own boxes and labeled what I'd taped. I took off all the cushions from the couch and vacuumed up the debris that had collected beneath the cushions, finding $1.05 in change. I vacuumed the carpet and used the dust mop on the wood floors. We moved into the dining room and polished everything that could be polished. When the wood at the tables and chairs was gleaming, Sam asked me how long it had been since we'd done grand silver. I hadn't ever polished grand silver. We opened up the buffet to find that, yes, it certainly needed it. So into the kitchen we carried it, and we found the silver polish, and we polished away. The radio was on. You guys, I'm sorry, I couldn't put you through it any longer.
There's more though, you guys.
Oh yeah.
Okay, but then we are, I guess, rewarded ? With some more Banana Town bonkers bullshit. Oh my God!
Take it back! 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 Actually, bing bong bong bird click. You're not gonna take it at all. I'm taking it.
Banana Town bonkers.
Sookie gets a flashlight. She goes out into the nighttime. Sam left. He fucked off. He's like, the sun's down. I'm gonna leave you to it to find out if your boyfriend's dead. She's like, thanks.
Also, murderer's still out there. Cool.
Murderer
cool.
out on the loose. Sookie takes her flashlight. You know that Sam just changed into a doggo and he's just borking around.
I hope not, poor Sam. He saw some things, if that's true. Aaron. He has to burn out his eyeballs.
Oh God, he probably did. But he does that later in the book too. Anyway,
yeah.
So
oh my God.
She's got her flasher light. She's got her denim dress.
It's been raining, you guys.
I think she might be barefoot. She goes out.
Raining.
Yeah, it's raining. She goes out into the cemetery and she just starts yelling, Bill,
you come out here right now.
Come out. Bill.
Oh, Bill Compton.
And then she feels movement in the ground.
Oh.
She's in the cemetery, y'all.
My God.
And then the ground is buckling.
The ground starts a rumbling.
And then all of a sudden, a white zombie hand shoots out from the red Louisiana soil.
Hand.
The dirt heaves, crumbles, and a figure climbs out of the ground. And she says, Bill?
The mud. Bill, is that you?
Bill? And then it moves toward her. And then covered with red mud streaks, his hair full of dirt, Bill comes out of the ground. And then...
buck ass naked.
Fucks her good.
Oh, no, you guys, no. It is worse than that. Okay. No, you guys, no. He does not fuck her good. He fucks her hate fuck. He fucks her, no. You guys, no. Okay. Buck ass naked in the ground. He's been in the ground all day. It has been a raining, you guys. He's covered in mud. Yeah. There are granules all over him.
All right,
he's
listen,
basically a human sandpaper.
I'll just read it.
Wait, no. So then she is like, hey, all of your friends are dead. FYI. I know that I hated them, but like they're dead. So like, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And he starts off this whole conversation being like, what did you do? And she was like, it wasn't me, but they're all dead. And I've been so worried. And then, oh my God. And so then he has this monster face on. She says, I could almost smell his skin and I could feel the turmoil in him. I could taste his rage.
He had never been more vampire. There wasn't anything human in him. Bill Compton has never been sexier HBs.
You guys!
He's stripped of his dockers. He's stripped of his dress socks. No loafers on him. No belt.
No. Bing boom bong. Logistics with Melody Bird Click.
100% vampire.
He is a human sandpaper. You guys.
Oh no, is this sexual health with Melody? I really thought this was going to be Sookie got raped with Melody. No?
No, it's also that. It's that. No.
So you care more about the dirt on his ween?
Oh no, I care. Can you imagine that friction on the inside of your vaginal canal? Can you imagine that
probably didn't have much dirt on it. It was probably fine.
Erin, what?
Maybe
he just
wiped
came
it off.
out of the ground. He did not, because he's in an absolute rage. And she says, directing that energy in another way might save me. I leaned in and put my mouth on his chest, his muddy, muddy, muddy chest. She has a mouthful of dirt right now.
It's my favorite thing.
And then
so dirty.
Licked the rain off, rubbing my cheek against his nipple, and pressed myself against him.
It's raining. He is
Covered
getting
in mud.
washed by rain.
I'm sorry. There is no way that it's getting all of the dirt out of his pubes. He grew up in the Civil War. There was no man escaping.
And his hair is permanent. Oh, no.
And his hair is permanent.
He's getting washed
the next
by
moment,
rain.
His teeth grazed my shoulder. So suddenly, So his teeth grazed her shoulder, and his body hardened, rigid, and ready.
It's fine. The mud is washed off.
He shoved me so forcefully, I was suddenly on my back in the mud. Okay, in the mud. He slid directly into me as if he were trying to reach through me into the soil. She's not prepped.
Sexy hot.
So she's dry.
Sexy, super sexy hot.
Sandpaper dick right into her vaginal canal.
It's washed off by rain.
I shrieked, Erin. I shrieked, and he growled in response as though we were truly mud people. Okay, I can't even. Primitives from caves. My hands gripping the flesh of his back, felt the rain pelting down, burr, 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 and then he sinks his fangs in. Again, he didn't ask. He didn't ask to sink his fangs in either. And suddenly she comes. Okay, Sookie, whatever. I don't believe you. I do. Bill howls. I'm sorry, right before this, Bill howled up in a way that should be werewolfian, but somehow he also does that.
What?
I don't get it.
Great
I don't
scene.
like it.
Good scene. Sexy
okay,
hot.
now all of this is to say,
yes,
I cannot tell you how many times I have pulled up just that clip on YouTube.
Yeah, I was gonna say
so that I can watch it, because in the show it's real hot.
Show that it was lame.
No,
and
cinematically,
how did she possibly come? No,
cinematically, it's really, really good. Reading it, disturbing. Disturbing.
Well, your imagination is the problem, not the Queen Charlaine Harris. That's what I say.
You know, you might be right. You might be right. So he picks her up and takes her into the house. Something else weird happens.
Yeah, bing, boom, bong, bird click. This is what I have a problem with. They take a bath. A bath. A bath is for when
shower
you're mostly
off, you
clean.
bitches.
Shower off before you get in that bath.
And then
she literally says that the water immediately becomes discolored.
Oh, that's
gross.
Going into places. Now everything's going into... I can't.
No.
Oof. No. Just shower off, you guys. You've been in a cemetery, a public cemetery, 100-year-old cemetery.
Yeah.
Get just
then he
off.
says they were how she was worried about how he died, and he's like, if I die, go to Sam. You don't get to tell me who I'm gonna go to.
Yeah, you shut the fuck up, Bill Compton. I don't give a shit. Oof.
Then they have sex. She's like, would you mind not biting my neck? And he's kind of like, instead of just being like, no, he's kind of like, that's kind of like my favorite part, but I guess I won't. It's like, Bill, just say it's okay. Just say it's okay.
Yeah, Bill.
Don't make her feel bad, Bill.
Out. Right?
But he's perfect. He is.
I don't know about that. He
perfect hero, man.
You know what I will say is a huge improvement from the book to the show. No, from the show to a huge improvement in the book. In the show, when she gets her settlement from Uncle Bartlett, because he gives her like $12K or $20K or whatever. Mm-hmm. In the show, she hands the check to Jason, and he uses that to go to his first retreat with the Fellowship of the Sun, the anti-vampire group place. In the book, she donates it to a center where they help kids who have been molested and like victims of incest and a bunch of stuff like that. So she like helps other kids who went through the same thing, and it's Uncle Bartlett's money. It's so good.
Yeah,
she's so good.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Okay, wait. Okay, sorry. My notes are he naked and muddy. She tell, he howl. She worry, he kill her, so seduce. Pound, pound, pound. Mud sex, ouch, come. Spa, bed.
Yeah.
Wake up.
Okay.
I want to enter you again.
Oh, yeah.
Girl on top.
But then after that,
And then Jason asked her to read the minds of the community that she's around so that, like, to help him find out who actually did it because he's worried. And then Arlene is like, can you watch my kids for free? And she's like, yes. And Arlene's like, ugh, except vampire ?
Yeah.
And they get in this tiff. And so then, so she's so mad, she comes home and randomly digs a hole.
I kind of liked it.
With Bill in tow.
She's so pissed off,
too.
she's going to dig a hole.
She just needs to expend some energy. But then, so she is mad as a hatter. No. She's not mad like
no,
crazy
that's
mad.
a different
She
kind
is
of,
mad as a
snake.
Badger. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mad as a badger. They get real mad.
Uh-huh.
And she digs this hole and she wants more to do and she's like restless and she wants to put this energy out places and she's snapping at Bill and then she's immediately apologizing because she just and then he goes make love. He goes make love. He said, make love with me. Woof. Like, if you... Okay. So we all know how I feel about this phrase, but when I'm, like, pissed off, I don't even know how I would respond to this. I would be just like, get out. Get out.
Sookie did. She's like, no, I'm not going to make love to you. And...
No, and then she does.
She does? No,
yeah,
she doesn't in that moment.
Yes, she does. She says, I didn't think he could persuade me, but turns out he can. I'm a waitress.
Here's the thing.
Like,
thesis, Bill is sexy. All right? He's sexy. And maybe he is sexy enough that he could persuade you, Melody.
Well, Erin, guess what he's doing now? He's braiding her hair again.
Oh, God, I forgot about it. I hated it. I hate it when he braids her hair. You know what? You know how I said there was that passive-aggressive comment on our Facebook page that was like, thanks for ruining my favorite book to the Susan Elizabeth Phillip book? When we post about this one, I'm going to make that passive-aggressive comment that's like, thanks for ruining my favorite book, me. Sucks.
Okay, oh boy. Okay, so now, as he's braiding her hair in a nice little plait, she finds out that Eric has ordered Bill to bring her back to Shreveport to the bar. And she's like, I don't want to go. And he's like, I can't really.
Yeah, he has like authority over us because he's old and powerful.
Yeah. So, okay. So then he's like, you know what you should do? You should drink my blood so that you can be really strong tomorrow. And she sort of, wavers about it. And he's like, no, you should do it. But then instead of being like a nice dude and like, biting his wrist for her.
They do this so normal. They bite their own wrists and then they hold it to your mouth and then you get to suck.
It's so normal.
He makes her lay on top of him and bite on his neck as hard as she can.
With her human teeth.
Yeah. She's just gnawing with her herbivore teeth.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes, this poor omnivore is like, I don't know how to do this. Well, and the other thing is, why would you have her be on top? He like pulls her so that she's straddling him. I mean, I know why.
Yeah.
But like it doesn't make sense. Like if she lets go, the gravity is going to make the blood flow away from her. Like you're making her work for it anyway. Yeah.
And
she bites him.
Bite or I'll have to use a knife. And I'd be like, use a knife.
Get a knife. Where is it? Go get one.
Where is knife?
Do you want me to do it?
I'm
fine.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she bites him really hard because there's no use in dilly-dallying.
Then they start fucking.
And then he starts fucking her. Like, he's the only one who is into this. Right before this,
bullshit.
She said, yuck. No, Erin, I'm sorry. She says,
bullshit.
Yuck. She's totally turned off by this idea. Okay, there is that whole moment where
no,
but it does say
sorry.
He comes, she does not, but it does say I raised my head from his neck and a wave of dark delight carried me out to sea.
A little ripple of madness went through me and I attached myself to him like a barnacle and he entered me, began moving, his hands now gripping my hip bones. I drank and saw visions. Oh yeah, I forgot she sees like weird history visions.
She does! She gets
visions with the background of darkness of white things coming up from the ground and going hunting.
And
the thrill of running through the woods.
running.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Then
and then she
he
ends
makes
the whole
a
chapter
noise.
with
A wave of delight carries her out to sea, and she says it's pretty exotic stuff for a telepathic barmaid from northern Louisiana. So don't you tell me she was not into that. Just because
And
Melody
my note
Carlisle
is
isn't, doesn't mean that Sookie Stackhouse isn't.
Weird. Okay. You know what? I'm not going to yuck her yum. It's fine. It just didn't really... I don't know. I guess Charlaine was just a little bit more highbrow for me. I did not see on the page that she came, so I don't know if she came or not.
She
this
did.
Is a little bit
A
too
wave of
Susan
delight.
Elizabeth Phillips for me.
A wave of delight. What is it? Carried her
Erin,
out to
last
sea.
Erin, last time she was flying and there were streaks of
Carried
white gold
her
or something.
out to sea. That is an orgasm.
Oh, because of like the waves of the sea, like the waves crashing.
She's
or
carried
whatever?
away. She's whisked away to Orgasm Town.
I don't know. I don't know. Guys. Okay, so they go to Fantasia.
Yes.
And
she
he
wears
blasts Kenny G
blue
the whole way.
jeans and a blue scoop neck tee.
So they go to the bar, and Eric has found out that people have embezzled $60,000 from him. He's convinced it's one of his humans.
Mm-hmm.
And so he wants her to read their minds and tell him, basically.
So she reads the minds.
A bunch of people's minds.
Of two humans. One of them is Ginger, my favorite character on the show.
Love Ginger.
Ginger knows who did it, but she has been glamored to forget it. So Sookie knows it's a vampire. And then out of nowhere, Long Shadow comes and starts like attacking Ginger, attacking Sookie. It's pretty clear.
He bites her on the forearm. He was going to rip her throat out, but she tossed her arm up.
Yeah. It's pretty clear Long Shadow had something to do with this embezzlement scheme.
I don't know.
So
maybe
Eric stakes him. And then
stakes him right in the back.
He disintegrates
explodes into her mouth.
Into Sookie's mouth. What?
Yeah. And in the show, this is so great. There's this interview with Anna Paquin where they're like, tell us about that scene or whatever. And she was like, yeah, so we started going through the blocking and everything. And they were like, okay, and then this whole thing is going to explode on you in like this big bag of like corn syrup and red dye or whatever. And she goes, okay, eyes and mouth open or closed? And they were like, open. And she was like, yeah, okay, all right, let's do this.
Yeah.
They were like, holy shit.
And it looks crazy. They like speed up the film or whatever so that it looks nutso.
It's
her
amazing.
Screaming. Oh, it's crazy.
It's so good.
So this is where the book and the show diverge a lot. Because in the show, Bill stakes Long Shadow and gets punished for it by Eric, and that's where we get Jessica. In the book, Eric stakes Long Shadow and sends Bill a reward in the form of a human.
And everybody is super turned on.
Yeah.
Because apparently they're also attracted to vampire blood in this canon.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is, but cool. Like, why wouldn't they just eat off of other vampires? Whatever. Doesn't matter. So
I think vampire blood is like candy. It doesn't like fill you up.
Maybe.
I really feel like I read that somewhere where it's like they can't sustain themselves on other vampires' blood.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
But they can drink it for fun. Okay. I really feel like that's in the series.
Yeah. No, that sounds right. That sounds familiar.
Or it's in another paranormal series I read. It could be from anywhere. Okay.
Wait, you want to hear my note about this whole thing? The note is Long Shadow attack. Bye. Everyone have eat and rape in their eyes.
Yes.
Because that's true. So they finally get out of there, and Bill like tries to maul her in the car, and she's like, Bill, no means no. And he kind of like comes to his senses or whatever. And then they drive home.
Wait, no.
Sorry.
You have forget it.
What did I do? What did I do?
You forget it.
Tell me everything.
Eric wants to get on Sookie.
Oh, yeah.
And then she's like, no. And then he like grabs a lady. Is it Ginger? I don't remember.
Yeah, she tells
Starts
Pam.
making out with...
She's like, call Pam. Call Ginger in. You have to call Ginger in.
Oh, yeah.
And so Pam and then produces Ginger. Oh, man.
Uh-huh. And then Eric starts making out with Ginger, but making direct eye contact with Sookie.
Oh, boy.
Very hot.
I can't.
Very hot.
I am a flutter.
Yes.
Oh.
Okay. All right.
Sorry.
Anyway.
So they drive home. Do they break up?
They go home.
No, not yet.
Nah, probably.
So she is hot and strong after having 3 bloods in her.
Yeah, so she says nothing to Bill.
Yeah.
But the next morning, the beginning of the paragraph says, the next day when I was getting ready for work, I realized I was definitely off vampires for a while, even Bill. She didn't say shit to Bill. She just decided the next morning she's off.
She's done with it. She's done with it. So
this is where she's chopping the lemons real fast. Her hair looks great. Everybody thinks she looks super sexy hot.
Mm-hmm. She has this weird electric moment with Sam in the office where she knows his penis is stiffening.
Oh, hello. I looked up at Sam, not too far, and it seemed to me his wiry, curly, red blonde hair. How many adjectives can we fit in?
How many?
Snapped with energy. God, both. Am I drunk? It seemed to me. I was going to tell a story, but I'm not. Okay, it seemed to me I could hear his heart beating. I could feel his uncertainty, his desire. My body responded instantly. I focused on his thin lips. Gross, Sookie.
Oh, boy.
And the rich smell of his aftershave filled my lungs. He moved 2 inches closer. I could feel his breath going in and out of his lungs, and I knew that his penis was stiffening. What? What? It was pretty normal right up until the end there. Anyway, so Sookie's hyper aware, apparently.
Sookie knows everything now. She's not just a telepath.
That's something that you could call Chekhov's stiffening penis, because that's never going to come back. Okay.
I don't know. She's a body path.
So they get interrupted by a waitress.
Stuff.
It doesn't really matter.
Yeah. And then she goes home after her full shift. We watch the full shift. I'm sorry.
Thing.
The sheriff is thinking gross things. The sheriff?
Mayor comes in.
Yeah, she's talking to the mayor. She's talking to the sheriff. But the sheriff is thinking like, oh, the ladies who've been killed were like bottom of the barrel anyway. And she's like,
yeah.
She's really upset because he's basically describing her. It's like a low level job plus having sex with vampires or whatever. And so she's like, oh, great, sheriff. Glad to know what you think of me.
We get to meet Portia for no kind of reason.
Reason.
Portia's another Bellflower lady lawyer. But I just want to note that Sookie Stackhouse has decided not to hire her to represent Jason because she's a woman.
She's a woman. Yeah.
But I would like to go on record as being okay with this decision because what she's worried about is that Jason is going to try to fuck her and she doesn't want that for Portia.
Yeah, I have kind of a maybe I'm reading too much into this note. Because she describes her as like blocky or whatever. She's like big and blocky, built like her brother. And it says that
those looks favor Andy more than her.
Yeah, exactly. The advantage goes to Andy. And then she's like, and you know, she's basically never been kissed, never been fucked. She's super like glum about it. And it's just like one more time we're like, why can't people without waspy waists have nice things in this land? Why? And then she goes home and gets changed. We watch her change.
And she is now wearing a red shirt and white slacks and some jewelry.
And she goes back to Merlotte's, not as a waitress, but as a patron.
This is weird. I know we're running out of time, but this is her night off.
Yeah.
And she walks in and she's like, 3 waitresses that I knew by sight were working tonight and a different cook.
Yeah.
If you work at a restaurant, you know everybody that works at that restaurant. Everyone works shifts with It's not like the Thursday night shift never works with the Wednesday night shift. That is the weirdest shit I've ever read.
No,
it's not. It's not at all. We've read about alien cousins. We've read a lot of things.
I'm sorry. We just read cemetery fucking. So
sure. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not even in the top 100, but it's weird.
Okay, so Bill comes in with a girl. She's like 2 rum and cokes in or something.
Bourbon and cokes.
Sorry. And
she's drunk.
I mean, I hear you, girl. Thank you. Represent.
And she doesn't notice until she gets off the bar stool,
also,
which is exactly when you notice.
I hear you, girl. Represent.
We talked about this in depth during the Love Hacked episode.
Yes.
In inverted jazz squares.
Okay.
Leave him alone, please. He's so easy to find. Okay,
so Bill. Oh boy. This was before we realized the podcast would like be a thing. Oh
yeah,
boy.
we didn't know people would listen.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Bill comes in with a girl, and Sookie goes from 0 to mad as a hatter. Nope, she's not crazy, you guys. I don't know why I keep doing
or
that.
a scorpion
Badger.
or like a wasp that got caught in a thing.
She's mad as a. She's got a bee in her bonnet. So she has.
Yeah, that's good.
Thank you. And then Bill's like, chill your jets here, cool your jets. Wow, I'm just all over the place,
And
aren't
also,
I?
this morning you decided to break up with Bill.
Yeah.
Like, why are you
he
so
doesn't
mad?
know that, so like I understand. He didn't get the
I
memo,
guess.
but still. So, he's like, ugh, she was this reward from Eric, and I have to send her home. And so he's like, let's go talk. Let's go back to your house. And she's like, no.
And
he's
Jason's like, I'll take her back to Shreveport.
yeah. Jason's like, I would love to. Okay.
Yep.
But then Bill's like, what about my house? And she's like, no, let's go to my parents' pond. So they go there. And she's really worried about laying down on the blanket with him because, like, it's another horizontal surface. Like, what's the point of not being in a place that has a bed? It's really cute.
I don't know.
No, it's really cute that she's like, oh, I'm still, fuck. Ah,
Yeah.
I still want to fuck him. So she breaks up with him.
So they break up and she breaks up with him because she feels like they're always going to be under Eric's thumb, no matter what.
Yeah. And Bill's like, okay, I think I have a solution to this, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. And then she's like, also, we need to focus on this murder investigation because they're all circling Jason. That's what she heard in all the lawman's brains.
Mm-hmm.
So she goes home, you guys, and Tina is murdered. Her cat.
That's the cat. Yeah.
Her sweet, sweet meow mix is murdered.
Bing boom bong. Evidence preservation with Erin.
Oh,
if
yes,
your
please.
cat is, if you come home and you know that you're the target of a murder.
I heard if you're a cat. Sorry, that's not. Bing boom bong. Bird click
If you
go.
come home, you're the target of a murder. You know that the murderer might murder you any day, and you find your cat strangled in the same way that many women have been strangled. You just call 911 and you don't touch that cat.
Yeah, maybe don't bury it in your very convenient hole that you dug 3 days ago.
Yeah, don't bury that cat.
Yeah,
Get
but
all
she
the
does.
fibers and all the DNA off that cat.
Yeah. I will
Bing, boom,
say
bong.
that I'm really, really thankful for this whole thing because we get one of the best sentences that Sookie has ever said in her life. Because she talks to the sheriff and she's like super over the sheriff. And then she's talking to Sam afterwards and she's like, ugh, I just hate it. He just kept saying ligature like he was proud he'd learned a new word. So good. And then, you guys, it's Erin's next favorite thing. Kids.
Let's just breeze on through this.
No.
We're about an hour and 32 minutes in here.
Here's the thing, though,
Why?
Erin.
We gotta wrap this up.
We have so many things that we could talk about with the kids in your favorite book.
No.
Just try it. What do they do? Tell me everything.
So the kids, they come over to... So Arlene
I'm kidding.
apologizes to Sookie by basically saying she can babysit her kids with Bill there.
Yeah, she
Then the
apologizes
kids come
to
over.
Sookie by being like, I will put my children in what I think is mortal peril by having
Well, and another thing, Arlene's a shitty friend because she's like, hey, Sookie, would you mind watching the kids for a couple of hours?
Yeah.
Me and Renee are going to go watch a movie in Monroe. Listen, you got to drive to that movie. You got to look at previews. You got to watch that movie that's 2 hours long. You got to drive back. That is not a couple of hours. That is 3 to 4 hours.
That's 5 hours.
So-
It's 6:30 to 11. It's 4.5 hours.
Yeah. Mhm.
No, manage expectations, Arlene.
Yes.
So then,
Anyway, the kids like Bill. It's cute.
it's fine. It's
Then
whatever.
Renee says bye to Bill. He comes and picks him up.
And then somebody saunters out from the woods.
Oh my God.
You guys.
Melody. I had, as much as I loved this series, I had totally fucking forgotten.
I forgot about Bubba.
Bubba.
Me too.
And I think it's because my brain just like
refused.
did not want to remember it. I hate it.
You guys, Elvis is a vampire, which explains the sightings.
Not Elvis. Many different explanations for possibly Elvis. Much dancing around
You're
of
totally
the misappropriation of name and likeness of Elvis.
Yeah, he's wearing a
Because she
Graceland
can't say
t-shirt.
it.
His name is
He is,
Bubba.
quote, the man from Memphis.
He'll get really upset if he hears any other name. because he shouldn't have been turned a vampire. He was like way too close to death or something, and like, but
and real drugged out.
But the mortuary or the morgue person was a big fan, and so he turned him anyway. It's so funny.
And now he's Elvis and still has Elvis hair, but he's real dumb and doesn't remember being Elvis, and he likes to eat cats like Alf.
He loves cats. He only wants to eat cats. So Bill's going away for a few days for this thing that he thinks will fix everything but won't tell us about. And he's like, Bubba's going to watch the thing. Don't be alone with him. Don't do anything like that. Because like he listens to me, but it only goes so far. So I don't know. What happens then? She goes on another shift. She goes back to Merlot's.
What happens? Did you change your fucking clothes? Did she comb her hair? Just chill out, Melody. This is a great book.
Wait, so then, no, you want to hear my notes on this really quick, though? It says, she watches Kobe and Lisa with Bill. Kids! Bet Erin love kids now. Elvis comes to watch her. Okay.
That's when she's on her shift, that's when Arlene makes the comment, wasn't Renee good last night around Bill?
Oh, yeah.
Because he hates vampires.
He has a problem with vampires.
And like, Sookie's like, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Foreshadowing.
And, yeah, foreshadowing, you guys. And then, so she goes home after her shift, and then she gets a call from somebody at the bar who she thinks is Terry Belfleur. Doesn't matter.
This is so weird. No. Bang, boom. Sorry.
Okay, cool.
It'll take a minute only. Cool. The phone rang. I jumped. Hello? I said harshly. Jason's here now, Terry Belfleur said. He wants to buy you a drink. So it's Sookie that believes it's Terry Belfleur. No one says, hi, it's me, Terry Belfleur.
Oh, fair, yeah.
Jason's here. So then she gets this whole thing where she's like, somebody called me pretending to be Terry Belfleur and told me to go in and get, and it's like, no, like there's nothing nefarious about this. Literally anyone could have called you and you assumed it was Terry.
Well, except that Jason was not there and he did not want to buy her a drink.
Yeah, but it's just like, where's Sookie getting this conspiracy theory of like the murderer called her?
She's real paranoid. There's a murderer afoot about.
If somebody said, hey, this is Terry, I would.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, makes sense.
Fair. Okay. So then she goes outside to get back in her car when she finds out that Jason's not there, and she sees this collie. And immediately, Sookie, bless her heart, is like, stray dog, come here. Why don't you come into my murder house? My cat just got killed, but I bet the murderer would love to have you. Also, there's a vampire in the woods. He loves pets as a tasty snack. So I really think that you should come home. And she says that I use the baby voice that I use with animals, like when nobody else is around or whatever. Anyway,
so what was the reason to get her to the bar that night?
Sam called her.
It's Sam?
So that he could jump in her car as a collie.
Why didn't Sam just show up at her house?
Why didn't he turn into a collie before she left her shift? I don't know.
That's weird.
None of it makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So then she takes the dog home. She names it Dean.
Yeah. She changes in front of it. She goes to bed.
I pulled off the shirt and tee. Put them away.
Oh my God.
She's always got to put her shit in the drawers.
She's so neat.
Stepped out of my panties and unhooked my bra. The dog watched me with great attention while I pulled out a clean nightgown and went to the bathroom to shower. When I stepped out, clean and soothed, Dean was still sitting in the doorway with his head cocked to one side. That's to get clean. People like to have showers, I told him. I know dogs don't. I guess it's a human thing.
You guys, in the show, he is very, very respectful, and he turns his back, even as a collie, to the point that Sookie's like, oh, you sweet dog, you respecting my privacy.
Yeah. Book Sam is like in her face with his eyeballs all the way bugged out.
Oh my God. Okay.
And let's just say Book Sam gets a little further with Sookie than Show Sam does. So.
All right.
This sucks. This really sucks. By a little further, I mean a lot further.
Yeah, I don't remember
Anyways.
that. All right. So then she wakes up in the morning and there is an arm around her. And it's a naked arm. And then there's a naked Sam in her bed. And so she does not freak out in the way that I thought was appropriate. In the show, she freaks out to an appropriate degree. And it's also like an accident. And in this, he's like barely apologetic. He's just like, ugh, I just figured I should come out to you at some point. and I was gonna like go outside or whatever, but it was just so comfy and warm.
Well, and then she's like, you sat there and watched me take off my clothes.
Yeah.
And like, you didn't do anything. And then his like response to that is, well, what I was going to do is I was going to leave this morning as a dog before you woke up. And it's like, that doesn't justify.
That is not a response to what I just said.
You watched me change. That just means you tried not to let me find out that you're a shapeshifter.
Yeah.
It's bullshit, Sam. Bullshit.
Yeah. Super fucked up. Anyway, so she's like, hold on, but that means that you're like supernatural or whatever, which means that maybe vampires don't have a virus. And this is the best thing that Sam says. He goes, I'm sorry, Sookie, but Bill doesn't just have a virus. He's really, really dead. Mm-hmm. All right. So then another girl is killed. She is called Amy. Yep. We have never met her before.
I just want to say something while Sookie is thinking about how she's dating a dead man. She says, you know, once I was listening to NPR, I said, completely at random, and they were broadcasting a piece about cryogenics and how lots of people are opting to just freeze their head because it's so much cheaper than getting your whole body frozen. And if you have listened to that episode of This American Life, it is super fucked up, and it makes me wonder if Charlaine Harris has also had that episode stuck in her head for a really long time, and it haunts her, because it haunts me too, Charlaine. If you're listening to this, you're not, I'm sure, but it haunts me too.
Oh my God, Charlaine, if you're listening to this, I do love you and all of your work.
Oh, bullshit. No, you can't take it back now. You cannot take it back now so that Charlaine Harris will be your friend. She's my friend only. Someday I'm going to meet her. I'm going to give her a big hug. And she's going to be like, Erin, I love how much you love my books. I'm going to be like, Charlaine, no prob.
Yep, she and Courtney Milan. It's true. All right.
You're being sarcastic.
So, no, you guys are, once you finally mesh, you guys are going to be BFFs. I'm going to be off the podcast. It's going to happen.
Stop. Okay.
So then she takes Sam home. And when she's home, there's Jason's truck is in the yard. And Jason
before she takes Sam home, she does get dressed in record time, pulling on clean underwear, a denim skirt, and a yellow shirt, the same one that she'd had on the night before. She does dab on some makeup and put on earrings and brush her hair into a ponytail, putting a yellow scrunchie over the elastic band.
No, she doesn't just use it. She accessorizes with a scrunchie?
Yes. Yeah, she wants that scrunchie. It matches the yellow shirt.
Oh my God. Okay. Oh, wow.
Anyways.
Well, now that we have a full picture of Sookie right now, she walks over to her brother's truck in her yellow shirt and yellow scrunchie. And he's in there, like, covered in blood, I think, with...
Yes. He's sleeping, like, slumped over the steering wheel.
Yeah, he's unconscious. And there's a videotape next to him or something. So she's like, we have to get him to the hospital, call an ambulance. Sam is like...
Sam's like, you sure you want to do that?
Yeah. And she's like...
Hey, Sam. Bing, boom, bong. Obstruction of justice with Erin. Don't just call the cops, Sam.
Honestly, that would be my first
Sam's getting
question.
a hard look right now. Just saying. Okay. Anyway.
Okay. So they send him to the hospital, and then he gets arrested at the hospital. They think he's the killer. It's bing, boom, bong, done. So... Then she like
that videotape is him having sex with the girl that just died.
Yeah, and it was probably like bondagey or whatever, because she finds out from his lawyer that the rest of the tapes were like bondagey or whatever. So they're like, you know, the sheriff is thinking that's where the ligatures came from.
Sookie has a lot of judgy things to say about Jason videotaping sex with his girlfriends that I'm sure Melody was really pissed about, but we cannot get into that.
I hugely herbsed it. Herbs. Couldn't.
She was real judgy about it.
Yeah, I wish I had read that. No, I remember her being
again,
like,
it's a perfect book.
What if they send it to your future bride? And
she did say that. What if somebody sends it to your future bride? What are you going to say then? It's like that I had sex with other people before I married you. I don't understand.
I don't know. I don't know what the problem is. Okay. She talks to his lawyer, and she's like, he was obviously set up with this Amy thing.
I have one thing to say about the conversation with the lawyer, and it's that the lawyer talks to Jason, then comes outside, and then Jason's sister Sookie is like, what'd he say? And then the lawyer's like, here are all the things that Jason told me in there. Don't do that. No,
he's
terrible
super
lawyer.
Her.
Don't do that.
Super tells her.
The lawyer's gonna say he was set up, and
She checks on Bubba, and Bubba's like, "Is there a cat around? Have you seen a cat lately?" He's like, "What about that dog?" And oh boy,
can I eat it?
Yep. And then Bubba almost catches somebody like sneaking around the house that night, but he gets away through the bushes, which also doesn't make any sense because vampires can go at lightning speed, apparently.
There's so much just bullshit in the end of this book that takes so long.
Yep.
Sookie watches Braveheart. Sookie hangs out with Hoyt. Like, Sookie wears a Garth Brooks t-shirt and some shorts. Like, there's so much just bullshit. She hangs out with Bubba a little bit. Okay, but then this is the end. Okay. So she feels like there's somebody outside her house, or sees somebody outside her house. So she's trying to figure out what to do. She goes to the living room, and she goes to where her gran kept a rifle by the fireplace.
And the rifle is gone.
And she sees that the rifle is gone. And then she realizes, okay, the murderer is somebody that has been in my house. The people that have been in my house are Bill, Jason, Arlene, Renee, and the kids, Andy Belfour, Sam, and the lawyer. So at this time, we're thinking it's probably either the lawyer or the kids.
Yeah, that's definitely what we're thinking. Yeah.
What you're thinking? Okay.
But then she immediately says, like, or it could be Maxine Fortenberry because I just had the giantest funeral in Renard Parish's history.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's true.
And they all came to the house, too. So she's like, well, that doesn't narrow anything down. Anyway, there's a thumping outside and there's a bumping.
She thinks about going to her car, but she thinks, okay, I'll be at my car for long enough to unlock it and get in, and that's going to get me dead. So that short amount of time where she would be at a standstill outside prevents her from going to her car. Instead, she just runs into the forest. This is not...
With a flashlight.
Yeah.
Everyone can see where you are, Sookie. Everyone.
Don't.
Everyone with eyeballs. And I think the killer has eyeballs.
She jumps into a tree.
She climbs that tree
she used to climb
like a vampire blooded up spider monkey.
Yes. She's up in the tree. She's
vaults
listening
at
for
one
him.
point. She vaults over something in a way that impresses herself. I'm sorry, Erin. She's up in the tree and she's listening for him.
She's listening for him.
Yeah.
And then she sees Bubba is asleep on the ground next to a bloody cat, and she realizes that the murderer must have given Bubba a drugged cat. How Renee knew that Bubba liked to eat cats?
He said it in front of them.
Cat? Okay.
But then how are you going to drug a vampire? How do you know what drugs work on vampires?
And then, like, if you drug up a cat, what did he do? Just throw it at him or hand it to him or what? I don't know. Just
let it loose.
Anyway, so she's up in the tree.
Yeah.
She hears the murderer walk away. So instead of just staying in that fucking tree, Sookie,
like you should,
stay in the tree.
Hang out, tie yourself up to that tree so you don't fall over when you fall asleep.
She jumps down and she gets to running again.
She starts running with her flashlight.
Sookie! And then she sees into the mind of the murderer, and she sees in his mind him looking at her.
It's black and snarly in there.
So snarly.
And then she gets images of Dawn
he's gonna
asking
snarl
him
it.
to punch it in the face, and then punch her in the face, and then she gets an image of Maudette, and she gets an image of Amy, and then she gets an image of her posted up against a tree. And then
she's so fucking in her head in the killer's thoughts. Then he's like right there next to her.
Yeah.
Because she forgot to keep running.
Yeah.
Sookie.
Oh, also, you guys, at this point, we all know it's Renee Lanier.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. Spoilers. So then, he breaks her collarbone and her ribs and her nose, fucks her up real good.
Real bad.
And
really the better way to put it.
Real bad.
Yeah.
Somewhere in New Orleans, Bill knows that she's dying, does nothing about it.
Hundreds of miles away.
Yeah. And then what does she do? How does she murderate him? Oh, she grabs his knife from his belt.
Yeah.
That he has for work and stabs him with it.
Right.
And then she says some real good line of like, "Die, bastard." Did I ever tell you about my very favorite scene in any True Blood? Did I tell you about my very favorite scene?
No, tell me.
It's when Anna Paquin as Sookie kills Lorena.
Yes.
And
yes.
Lorena says to Bill, "I love you." And Sookie says, "You wouldn't know love if it kicked you in the fangs," and then stabs her. And if you can Google Sookie kills Lorena, that line is laughs a million. It's really, just the best.
It's really good. And Sarah
My friend
Holly
Brandon
made
and
a
I used
gift
to say
for
it to
you.
each other all the time. Brandon and I would greet each other by saying, "You wouldn't know love if it kicked you in the fangs." I just loved it. Anyway.
Well, and Sarah
so
Holly
she
made
kills
that
him.
gift for you, Erin.
What?
Sarah
What?
Holly made that gift for you.
What? Where is
Do I need
it?
to say it a third time?
I just can't believe it. I'm astounded. Where is it?
It's on Twitter.
On Twitter? She replied on Twitter?
Yes.
Melody, this is what happens when you look at a notification and then it's no longer notified and then I don't get notified. You know how you text me?
I thought you were in it. I thought you were.
How would I know? How would I know? We had a viral tweet this week, Melody. How would I see it?
Oh my God, you're so right. Guys, we went viral. We went Romancelandia viral. Erin did.
God. Anyway,
Erin was
so
completely
she
responsible
stabs
for it.
Renee. He doesn't die. She goes to Bill's house. She lays on the carpet in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Then she goes to the hospital. Bill shows up at the hospital. We have to deal with a whole love story between a guy named JB and her doctor before the end. Everyone sends her flowers. One of the people that sends her flowers is Eric. It is a flower that looks like a vagina, and it says Eric on it. And I realized that maybe Bill Compton wasn't my one and only someone in that moment.
Oh!
Also in the moment where he was making out with Ginger. And then it's the end. Okay. All right. So now you can talk to me about Sarah Holly.
Listen, you just have to scroll through our likes
I will
or
scroll
whatever.
through. I will do it, but I'm just saying, when a notification like that comes up and you see it with your Melody eyes, you need to then text me because then I will not get notified.
You're so right. I'm sorry.
You should
super
be.
sorry.
You should be.
Well,
Do you have a lady
we're
love?
going to tweet out the gift that was lovingly made specifically for Erin.
Oh my God. Of the Wicked Wallflowers Club, Sarah Holly.
Yep.
My God.
Yep.
Wow. What
Amazing.
a true friend. And then we didn't even like it or reply, did we?
I'm pretty sure I liked it.
Oh
I
my
loved
God.
it.
Melody.
I don't
That's
know
like
if
the nicest thing anyone's ever done for me is make that gift.
Listen, and I wasn't going to respond because I felt like that was like firmly your territory, you know?
That's what you need to text me.
I'm so sorry. Oh no, I
What kind of
fucked up.
enterprise are we running here?
Listen, we're a well-oiled machine, and I don't know what you want from me.
We don't even know what time we're recording like 2 hours before. How dare you?
It's true.
Do you have a lady love?
Oh boy, do I? That's an excellent question. Do you? I think is a better
I have
question.
two. You want me to have two?
Yes,
I'll do two.
I do want you to have two. Oh boy, that's great.
My first one is this. If you're a fan of True Blood in any way, book or show, and you have not seen the Snoop Dogg music video called Oh Sookie, which is Snoop Dogg's tribute to Sookie Stackhouse because he loved the show True Blood so much, he dropped some sweet rhymes.
Oh my gosh.
It is hilarious and was one of the extras on HBO. And I shared it with some HBs this week, and I watched it again and I loved it so much. But there are some jokes in there that are from like season 3. So if you haven't seen everything, you might not get everything. And then my other lady love is a weird one, but I stand by it. If you are in a bad mood, a way to get out of a good mood, get out of a bad mood and into a good mood is to watch news bloopers. News bloopers are my lady love. Go on YouTube, Google up some news bloopers. It's great fun to watch news bloopers. I did it for like a half hour yesterday. It cheered me up so much.
Oh, nice. Like with news anchors?
Yeah. Like news anchors accidentally saying fart or penis or like weather people getting blown over, like, or, you know, the lights hitting them in the face.
I like it.
There'll be like a green screen and somebody will just like wander into it with their coffee because they don't know that that's the camera that's filming right now. Or, you know, news bloopers.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right. I like that. That's great. I am currently texting you the thing she made.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That is my lady love.
It's the gift.
Yep. It's really good stuff.
All right. You can find us on Twitter, heaving_bosoms, on Facebook, Heaving Bosoms Podcast, and the Facebook group is the Heaving Bosoms Podcast Geriatric Friendship Cult, and Instagram is heaving_bosoms. Gmail is heavingbosomspodcast@gmail.com. Where else can they find us? Did I say Instagram?
I don't remember.
Did I say merch is on Redbubble, Heaving Bosoms. And the Patreon is Patreon/Heaving Bosoms Podcast. Our website is heavingbosoms.com. And that's it.
And that's all the places. Oh, also, Erin did a really cool thing, and she made a link tree for our Instagram, so you can now find all of our links via our Instagram bio.
Yeah, and our Twitter bio.
And our Twitter bio. So that's super exciting.
Okay.
All right, so keeping a badass.
Love yourself as much as you love a vampire dick that has a flag that comes out that says splooge.
Flag come. Yes.
It's better than blood.
Oh.
All right.
Yep. All right. Love you tons.
Love you. Bye.
I'm sorry I ruined this book for you.
No, you're not.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, you. Yes, listener, you. Are you loving the show? If so, please leave a rating and review in your podcast app. The 90 seconds you take to say something nice not only helps new people find the show, but it makes me super smile over at HBHQ. Also, I've had a few people ask, and the answer is yes. We are still doing the 5-star bribe. If you leave us a review with 5 stars, then we'll do whatever book you want. We're real deep into the list, though, so it might be a while. Lilas! Okay, back to the show.